You're listening to Confessions of a Counselor podcast. Here we will talk all things mental wellness. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Counselor. Today I thought we would talk about depression and something very specific about depression that I think is an important conversation to have. So this is about the language that we use around depression. So depression has become quite a common term, a common phrase that we use in society. So today I thought I would talk about the difference between depression, sadness, and apathy so that we can start to use more accurate language to describe those hypoarousal feelings and start to indicate more accurately what we are experiencing so that others can support us, or we can ask for help in ways that might feel more effective or helpful. So if we come back to our window of tolerance episode where we have our baseline and our feelings go into hyperarousal, so that's above our baseline, and hypoarousal where our feelings come below our baseline. Below is what we're talking about today. So depression in and of itself is actually a diagnosis. So there are different diagnoses of depression. Basically, you can split it up into chronic or long-term depression. So that's where we're experiencing depression for a long period of time versus short-term or acute depression, where we're experiencing depression for a short period of time or for a specific reason, such as grief and loss or a traumatic event. So when we're discussing depression, this is a shutdown, right? So this is where we're actually not really experiencing anything. Oftentimes it'll be described as like a cloud or a weight that sits over top of everything. It integrates and overcomes everything in our lives. So even if we're having a quote-unquote good day, the depression is still there. We are still not feeling well. So this can sometimes look like sadness, but oftentimes it looks like a turning off of, or a not being able to access feelings. So this is really big, and it takes up a lot of our lives. Sadness is a feeling. Sadness is it's sad. It's this feeling that we get, and again, everyone's feelings of or experience of these feelings is different. But sadness is, watching a movie and crying, or sadness is seeing something on television that really moves us to want to enact change. That's when we're really tapping into sadness, that is most universal, that someone can relate to. Apathy, on the other hand, is not quite that shutdown of depression, but this I don't care feeling, or this meh feeling is kind of the best way that I can describe it. This non-interest. And this is sometimes where when we're kind of working towards baseline, we can end up in apathy and think that we're experiencing baseline, when baseline is more of a I'm just okay feeling versus I don't really care feeling. And all three, so apathy, depression, sadness, are all very important in that they have a role, right? So if depression is showing up, then there is a need to seek help and to ask for support and create a new way of living to support that mental illness. Sadness is a feeling that everyone experiences, where we are just going to feel through that feeling and eventually it'll lift. And same with apathy. Apathy is a feeling, and we can again move through that feeling, experience that feeling, and let it go. So really recognizing, what am I feeling, and trying to more accurately describe this feeling so that others around us can understand our experience, and we can ask for support and care in the ways that are going to be most helpful. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Confessions of a Counselor podcast is available anywhere you like to listen to your podcast, both on Apple and Android. New episodes will be released every Friday. If you enjoyed this podcast, please feel free to join the conversation. Leave a review or subscribe to the podcast hosted on the Anchor app. All these details can be found at janicelyons.com. Until next time, take care.